Hello, I'm Kimberly, and welcome to the weekend edition of the Nave News Update. It's Friday, December 19th, and many of the stories you hear here can be found at IndianCountryTV.com. And here's the news for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. The Colorado River tribes have filed a lawsuit to block construction of a solar energy facility that will replace 4,000 acres of ancestral homelands in the Mojave Desert with reflective photovoltaic panels. The lawsuit claims that the U.S. Bureau of Land Management's environmental impact statement for the project failed to adequately take into account its effects on the area's ecosystem, cultural resources, groundwater, and the Colorado River. Plus, they also claim that the Bureau of Land Management violated federal law by authorizing construction of Florida-based NextEra Energy Resources Blythe II project without first holding a government-to-government consultations. The lawsuit aims to delay or permanently enjoin the Bureau of Land Management from permitting ground-disturbing activities within the project site and from issuing any further notice to proceed until the agency complies with the National Historic Preservation Act, the National Environmental Policy Act, and the Federal Lands Policy and Management Act. U.S. lawmakers have repealed a portion of the Violence Against Women's Act that critics say left Native American women in Alaska without legal recourse in the face of domestic violence. The reauthorized VAWA of 2013 gave tribal courts the authority starting in March of 2015 to prosecute domestic violence cases when defendants are non-Native. It also strengthened a requirement in the original VAWA passed in 1994 that civil orders of protection against abusers be recognized in every U.S. state, including on tribal lands. But Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska added an exception to the 2013 law called the Special Rule for Alaska. Following an outcry from Alaska Natives, Murkowski reversed her stance on the Alaska exemption, and with support from Alaska Senator Mark Begich, co-sponsored a repeal, which passed unanimously in the Senate on December 9th and was approved by the House on December 11th. Longtime Native American rights advocate Alfred Leo Smith passed away November 19th at the age of 95. Smith, a member of the Klamath tribe, was known in Native communities throughout the Northwest. In a landmark 1990 U.S. Supreme Court case, Employment Division v. Smith, Smith fought to provide protection for the Native American Church and its religious peyote ceremonies. He and Galen Black were fired from a private counseling service for using peyote and were denied unemployment benefits. The headline-making case bounced back and forth between the high courts of the U.S. and Oregon, and Smith eventually lost. But the issues raised a national debate and led Congress to amend and strengthen the 1978 American Indian Religious Freedom Act. A Rapid City couple is making a $1 million donation for a work of public art in South Dakota. The donation from Norm and Annabelle McKee and their extended family will fund a 45-foot tall statue of a star quilt being received by a Native American woman. The statue will be placed in Chamberlain on the bluffs overlooking the Missouri River. The sculpture, titled Dignity, will be made of stainless steel by Black Hills artist Dale Lamphere. The monument is expected to be constructed and installed in 2015. Landscape architect Pat Wise said the sculpture will be able to be seen by both east and westbound travelers along I-90. 2 decades ago, Billy Best made national headlines as the Norwell, Massachusetts teenager who ran away from home to avoid chemotherapy. Now he's telling the story of his life after that episode in a self-published memoir available online. The Billy Best story, Beating Cancer with Alternative Medicine, is available through Amazon.com, published by Sandcastle Memoirs. Best, a Micmac who is now 34, fled in 1994 after he began chemo treatment for Hodgkin's lymphoma. Within weeks, he learned that his flight had become a media sensation. He then came home, found an alternative treatment from Canada, and graduated from Silver Lake Regional High. 18 years after fleeing treatment, Billy Best is cancer-free, and he remains a firm believer in alternative treatments like the one he chose after he came back home, a Canadian immune system injection called 714X, which is still not approved in the U.S. For more information, you can check out billybest.net. And that's the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Nave News Update. I'd like to thank you for joining me and have a grand day.